Do you think that we're just moving to a future where all the entrepreneurs are just social media influencers? Like, how is this going to play out?
No, I mean, we're not moving to that world. I mean, look, yeah, you're right. First of all, I just want to build off of what you just said there about one of the reasons why people fear change. It's absolutely true, which is why I think that you need to put yourself in a position where you are faster than the change, right? Where you like, look, if you think about change as a thing that is inevitable, right? Like the future is not optional. You can't opt out of the future. Then the thing that you need to do is look coldly at your options. If change is coming, then you have literally two options. You can wait until it slams into you, and then you're going to have to scramble, or you can change on your own terms before it hits you.
Yeah.
And to me, that's really only one good option. Those aren't two good options. That's one option, which is change before you must. If you're not changing before you must, then you are giving up your leverage. You're forcing yourself to wait until you're acting in pain. I mean, you're basically being the government, right? Like, what is government? Government has absolutely no will to fix anything until it is radically broken. And that's not a good way to operate. It's a terrible way to operate. And so, you have an opportunity to do better, which is to adapt along the way, see change coming a mile away. And yes, I do have a great 5-minute interlocking part about exactly this. I'll spare it unless you really want to hear it. It's a great story about Dogfish Brewing, but like I tell the story all the time because it's a really valuable one. Blockbuster is a great example of not changing before you must, right? Blockbuster is like waiting until the change has come to you, at which point you are out of options, but you don't have to be that way. So to your question, which I've now sort of forgotten. Oh, right. It was the future of entrepreneurship. So no, I mean, look, first of all, it's weird comparing today's vision of entrepreneurship to whatever yesterday's was, because the word entrepreneur, as we are using it right now, is a fairly new definition. Right? Yeah. I mean, if you rewound 10, 20 years, the word entrepreneur was very unfamiliar to people. And if it meant anything, it probably meant a very specific kind of business person, but it wasn't something that people really identified with. Certainly nobody knew how to spell it. And now it is a badge of honor. It is a identity. It is a thing that people who, regardless of their career and their journey and their station in life, so to speak, they can claim it as their own. And I think that's awesome. I love that. So that means that Instagram and TikTok stars who are 16 years old and are monetizing that in some ways are calling themselves an entrepreneur. And sure, why not? My definition of entrepreneur is someone who makes things happen for themselves. And that is a wide range of people. So to me, what's the future? I mean, I think that the most important thing that you're seeing in terms of defining entrepreneurship is the lower barrier to entry, which is to say that things like services like Shopify and the ability and FreshBooks, right? Like to not have to hire a bookkeeper and to not have to hire like a chief marketing officer and not to, right? Like these were the things that you needed to do previously to have a business. You had to like assemble all of these things and you had to do your own fulfillment and to be able to offload all of that so that a individual person with a vision can pretty quickly bring that to life and then start to get it in front of people and iterate along the way. That's amazing. And I think that will only accelerate, right? Like the tools that we have now are amazing, but they're really the very beginning. And so the future to me is more and more services that ultimately make it easier and easier to bring an idea to life and try to monetize it and then learn along the way. And that's very exciting.
Yeah, I agree 100%. It's a really exciting time because the barriers to entry, like you said, they're basically gone now. You don't need to have a master's degree from Harvard. You don't need to take out $100,000 loan to open up a restaurant. Mm-hmm. Like you could start today doing something like it takes, an hour and $50 to start a Shopify store. Like it's not that. I love that. I love that. And to me, entrepreneurship is about taking control. And that's what the After Hours Entrepreneur is all about. It's about taking control and using that extra time to build something, to build a future. And speaking of that, Build for Tomorrow podcast, we're talking with Jason here. If you're digging what Jason's saying, you definitely need to check out the Build for Tomorrow podcast, because we are speaking to the editor-in-chief of Entrepreneur Magazine, done some incredible things. And I'm really honored to have you here, Jason. Thank you so much for watching. I'm glad you enjoyed this episode. I've got several other episodes right here for you. Smash one of these videos to make sure that you don't miss out on the tips, tools, and tactics of industry experts. Let's take that side hustle full time. Smash one of these links.